Hey, everybody, guess what? We've got the Travelin McCourys with us. They're going to be at Brooklyn Bowl this weekend. I'm so excited. And I've got Rob and Ronnie here with me. How's it going today?
Great. How
Great.
you doing?
Good, good. It's still cold outside, a little too cold for me.
Yeah, we just got back from Jamaica. We were playing some shows in Jamaica, so it's really cold to us.
Oh, yeah, that was a rude awakening coming back here, then, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes, and when we left, it was we had to leave like a 6 o'clock flight, and it was Thursday the 20th. We had ice,
Oh,
so we enjoyed our week away.
yeah, I'm kind of jealous, but I'm excited that we're going to talk about. You have a new show coming up this weekend at Brooklyn Bowl. Is this the first time you'll be playing there at that venue? It's relatively new.
Yeah, no, we played it last year, and we were one of the very first, like maybe the first week it opened, because they were prepared to open, but COVID, the very week they were prepared to open, COVID shut it down.
Oh.
And they had trained all their guys, and they were ready to go, and then it shut down. So when it reopened, we actually got to play there.
It's a great venue. I love it. It's something new. But I like the sound and the acoustics and the way you can have people standing and people sitting. How do you, as a band, like that venue?
It's great. That was our first time, and looking forward to this weekend and going back. But yeah, it's really it's great playing to a standing audience because you feel more connected to them than people that are sitting down. And, so I think I like that, and they're up close to the stage. The standing folks are, but if you want to sit, they have tables and chairs and stuff there too. So,
and you can bowl.
Yeah, and you can bowl. You can watch the show and bowl, which is really cool because they have all those big screens.
Yeah,
and you don't even hear it. That's what I find amazing. You can't even hear it.
I know it. You don't even hear it at all from the stage. We don't hear it. The fella that we know, the guy that kind of started it in Brooklyn, and we played that one several times. And they have one in Las Vegas we've played. Seems like they have another one open, maybe in Philadelphia. We haven't been to because it's new, but this one will be our second time here in Nashville. It's our new favorite place.
It's your new favorite place. Oh, that says a lot because you guys have been a lot of places.
Yeah. You can eat, drink, dance, bowl, watch the show, and watch the Sounds baseball game from the.
That's right.
That's true. From the roof. Well, it's not really rooftop, but like the little deck thing. Yes,
it's multifaceted.
It is in so many ways. That's true. I want to give everybody a little bit of history. You guys have been performing for a long time. I feel like you're kind of like bluegrass royalty, and your dad's a member of the Grand Ole Opry. Tell everybody how you guys got started. Like, how young were you when you first started performing with your dad?
I'm a little bit older than Rob, just by a couple of years, and I started before he did, and I was 14, and I'll be 55 soon. So it's 41 years for me, and Rob's right on my tail. So we've been doing that's with my dad. So and then we've had this band for about 10 years. So
that's a long time.
Tell
me, you've probably got a lot of really interesting stories. So as a kid, did you get away with things more when you're performing with your dad? They're like, okay, we'll let the kid do that.
I'm not sure. What do you think, Rob?
I feel like there's a story in there.
I know we missed a few Fridays and Mondays of school.
Yeah. You got out of school.
We weren't back. We either had to leave or we weren't back in time to go on Monday. But yeah, I'm 50. I was 15 when I started full time with Dad. So, Ronnie and I both finished out, high school playing professionally in a professional band. And, I don't know, that we figured it out somehow, I guess, but whether we got away with things or not, maybe we thought we got away with things.
That's probably what it was, right?
Because, you know, the older I get, the smarter my mom and dad are. It's just crazy.
It's amazing how that works, isn't it? I was looking up some interesting things. You guys played on the Nashville Network. A lot of people may not remember that, but I was looking that up. Wow, what was that like? I mean, you've got to have so many like interesting memories of Nashville playing in all these venues.
Well, before we moved here in 1992. Before that, we were living in Pennsylvania, is where we're born and raised. And when we got cable, the cable came through our little part of the world over there, and the big thing we wanted was the Nashville Network. We wanted to watch it, and we had friends on there that were getting on there, and all of our heroes were playing. And one of the biggest things was like, we got to get to Nashville. We got to get on the Nashville Network. We got to just get on there for one time. It's a powerful medium, and man, when we did, that was really something for us. That was like it ranks right up there with like the playing the Grand Ole Opry the first time for us was. My dad played with Bill Monroe in 1963, so he'd already had been at the Opry many times, and for us when we got here to do that's just really you can't even put it into words how you feel about that, and to do it with your dad and your brother and all that,
Right. That's like a family memory. I mean, a lot of
Yes.
families experience seeing maybe someone on stage, but you guys were all up there together. I mean,
Yeah,
that's pretty special.
it
Yeah.
is. It
Yeah,
really.
the TNN, I think that was definitely one of the big reasons, the big draw. We're like, because with Dad, he's always been pretty confident, and he said he thought, if we were down there, we'd get on that. We could get on these TV shows. But living 700 miles away, it's just not likely. But and there were times since we moved here, back then, they'd have a cancellation and boom, you'd get a phone call, but you got to be there in 2 hours to do this show. And,
You got to be ready.
if we lived in Pennsylvania, that surely wasn't going to happen, but living
Right.
locally, it did. That happened several times for us.
Yeah.
And we kind of became, I guess, semi-regulars on the different shows, Crook and Chase, and I always call it the Ralph Emery Show, but Nashville Now. But
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it was just amazing to be here at that time when a majority of the first generation country stars and bluegrass were still living, and to be on those shows around those folks.
And really, that was kind of looking back at that was kind of when all of them first kind of got television exposure, so to speak,
Yeah.
because of all those shows that you just mentioned.
yeah,
It was huge. It was huge to us. It was, of course, now you have, satellite radio or whatever. It's just everywhere. But back then, to get on that show, which was everywhere,
yeah,
For that time, right?
Yeah, I miss those kind of shows.
yeah.
Yep.
And
Like the
even
variety.
like
Yeah.
what you were saying about the older generation, the country singers, I mean, remember some of the shows, but now with YouTube stuff, you can go back and watch all the shows that used to be, all the shows that were in Nashville. Well, those things dried up, so that older generation of country stars, there went their TV too, unless they were doing a live spot on the Grand Ole Opry, and then. But when TNN came back into the picture, that was just awesome, And I'm like Ronnie, I love to watch those country music shows from, some of those things were in the 50s,
Mm-hmm.
and then through the 60s for sure,
Yeah. Well, you have a show. Let's talk about your show coming up. It's just like those other shows, but it's yours.
There you go.
And it's your own, you guys are incredible performers. Obviously, you've been doing this a very long time. Do you still get nervous? Do you still get nervous before you perform?
I think most people do. I think there's something a little bit about it. Um, nervous energy or whatever you want to call it. But there's some nerves there.
For
Even when
sure.
we were standing on stage near the sand in Jamaica, we were still a little bit nervous to go up.
Well, tell us what people can expect from your show this weekend.
Well, I need to just say a little bit that about 10 years ago or so, my father he kind of pulled us together and said, I'm getting a little older now, and if something would happen to my voice or my health, I'd hate for you boys just to start cold. So maybe it's a good idea for everybody to try and do a little side project thing. Well, that's 10 years later. Here we are, and his health is still great, and he's still playing and singing great. So we balanced that whole thing. Um, so usually when we started this thing, well, it's kind of because it's the band members without my dad. It was kind of the Travelin McCourys band. So we had to find something that would make us a little different, and the song decisions maybe, or stretching things out and kind of jamming is what they call it. Kind of jam music. We do a lot of that too, along with traditional bluegrass and different guys singing. But also have a hot guitar player. He's a Tennessean. His name's Cody Kilby. Uh, he born and raised here around McMinnville, and plays every instrument, but he can really shred a guitar. But we always have a lot of friends in Nashville, and if they're not busy and they want to come pick, they'll come out. We've had that every place we play in Nashville through the years. It seems to be like that, and it's an honor, and it's always fun to have different guys and girls up with us.
So what you're saying is there's a possibility you could have
There's always a
some
possibility.
special guest on Saturday, but you're not going to tell us.
Well,
Okay.
maybe not.
Now you guys performed with Dirks, right? Was that a couple years ago?
Yeah, Rob can tell a little bit about that. We've done quite a bit with him.
Yeah. He, Dirk's, let's see, what year would that have been? I'm not exactly sure, but he recorded a record up on the ridge. Well, when you make a record, you need to get out and tour that record. So Dirk's, we all played on the record on, different tracks and stuff. I don't think we played on anything all together, but when he needed a band to go tour that thing, he called the Travelers to see if we could go and be the band. And then we did. Of course, we've known him since he came to town. We've been buddies for years, long before he was the country music superstar he is. And he's just a great guy. But we went out and we toured that record. And it was, we just had a tremendously great time. I think that's even an understatement.
Well, Dirks has always talked about how much he loves bluegrass, and he spent a lot of time in the station and I know that you guys have performed there as well. So I think it's so interesting that this whole marriage of bluegrass is kind of coming around again, and so many artists are using bluegrass elements in their music.
Yeah. It's a great music, and it was birthed right here, right in Nashville on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. With Earl Scruggs and Bill Monroe and Lester Flatt. It's amazing, and it's a fairly young music, but it's very popular around the world, really. Lots of musicians all around the world love it.
So that's interesting you say that. When you leave Nashville and you're bringing that bluegrass music to other people. You're saying people really engage with that. They like what they're hearing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know if it's the fact that you're not really supported by amps, or for the most part it's a music that doesn't have drums and or electric
Right.
instruments for the most part. And it's a challenge to tackle your instrument and be able to play it well,
Yeah.
People get sucked into that, I think.
Right.
There's a lot to the music with the harmonies and the fast and slow and things like that. It's people
Yeah.
enjoy it.
There's a lot of we've had a lot of people come up to us that like they really love heavy metal, but they're like bluegrass is heavy metal. I mean, they explain it to us that way. The speed, when you
Oh,
play
okay.
something fast, it's like these metalheads are like, man, that's like playing heavy metal, and they love the fast stuff.
I hadn't thought about that correlation, but that's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's
That's
true.
the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
And Bill Monroe, he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's the father of bluegrass, but he's also a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I think that's part of the thing that is very entertaining with bluegrass, because yes, some of those songs are so fast, and I'm fascinated. I'm like, how do their fingers move that fast? I don't even understand how that works.
It's an optical illusion.
Yeah, it's not really happening. I don't know how you're doing that magic up there, but that's pretty impressive.
That's funny.
Well, you guys, please go get tickets. Brooklyn Bowl Saturday. You don't want to miss them. Their music is incredible. I've been listening for a little while this morning when I had a chance, and it's incredible. So thanks so much for coming by and talking to me about the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Come out if you can, Donna.
Okay, I'm gonna come watch and be just amazed. I'll be standing there amazed. All right, thanks again. You guys, please go check him out. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.